Under orders of the day, public bills and orders other than government bills and orders for second reading. Bill 208, Seniors Advocate Act. Mrs. Toll.
The honourable member from Innisfil Sylvan Lake.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It truly is a pleasure to rise and speak on Bill 208. It's been an honour as a first-time MLA to work as the Wildrose Seniors Critic. I have one of the best jobs in Alberta. Every day I get to meet with seniors and their families about what matters most to them. We have truly amazing seniors in this province. I don't think there is a group of people in all of Canada who have given so much back to their communities. Seniors are charitable, they volunteer, and they sacrifice. And they do all of this because they care deeply about the future of this province. That's why I believe it's important for us to ensure that the seniors who built this province and our country be treated with the respect and the dignity that they deserve. Bill 208, the Seniors Advocate Act, is an independent advocate, and it reports directly to the legislature. This will mean that seniors no longer have to feel like they don't have a voice. The office of the Seniors Advocate must be independent, for all the same reasons that the office of the Child and Youth Advocate was made independent. Madam Speaker, when Bill 25 was introduced in this legislature almost exactly 2 years ago, establishing the Child and Youth Advocate as independent, the Minister of Human Services said, "With this legislation, the Advocate's reports and recommendation and advice will not go through the Ministry, but will go directly to the legislature, providing an open and transparent process and involving Albertans." Madam Speaker, 2 years later, is it not still important to provide Albertans with openness and transparency? If the government felt it was so important to the function of the Child and Youth Advocate, does that same argument not hold true today for Alberta seniors? Seniors in care can often be vulnerable, without a voice, and need of someone to speak up for them. In a lot of ways, it's no different than the children represented by an independent Child and Youth Advocate. Seniors deserve this independent voice. The government's proposal is simply not good enough. By reporting to the Minister of Health and not the legislature, the Seniors Advocate will simply serve at the will of the government of the day. The current government announced today a Seniors Advocate, and it said this role would include requesting inspections, investigations, and quality and safety assessments related to care provided in seniors' facilities as laid out in Alberta law. Unfortunately, the Health Facilities Review, which was recently cancelled by this current government, did just that already, and they could do those inspections unannounced. It also said that the Seniors Advocate role would refer concerns and complaints to the appropriate channels. This is what our frontline staff and workers and caregivers and advocates do already. Provide information and referrals to seniors, their families and caregivers regarding government-funded seniors' health, continuing care and social support programs and services. This is already the role of the Minister of Health and the Associate Minister of Seniors. Provide public education on the rights, interests and needs of seniors. That should be the role of every single Albertan, Madam Speaker. The advocate may have the best of intentions, but if he or she is not empowered with independence of the government, it's inevitable that their critiques of policy will run up against the politics of the ministry. How can the advocate make honest and public assessments of seniors' policy and the quality of their care when the person responsible for the system is also their boss? We have seen time after time after time within this ministry and within Alberta Health Services where doctors, frontline staff, caregivers, family members are scared to come forward. The bullying and intimidation of our frontline staff and doctors has been made all too clear by Alberta Health Services. It just doesn't make sense, Madam Speaker, and that's why after many years this government moved to make the Child and Youth Advocate independent. I'd like to go back to that day on November 22nd, 2011, when the Honourable Minister of Human Services spoke very passionately about why the Child and Youth Advocate needed to be independent. He went on to say, "Many people in Alberta are unaware of the important role and function of the advocate to ensure that the rights, interests and viewpoints of children and youth in the child intervention system are heard. Some may question why there's a need for an advocate or why an independent advocate is so necessary. Understanding the role of the advocate in individual and systemic advocacy is therefore an important part of understanding legislation." He went on to say, The Child and Youth Advocate will now have the ability to make recommendations to the legislature and to the people of Alberta as a whole through the legislature about the services it provides to children and youth in the child intervention and the youth criminal justice systems. The Advocate's reports from investigation into serious injuries and deaths will also be made public. Albertans can then be confident that the Advocate is doing his job in identifying concerns in the child and intervention youth criminal justice system, beholden to no one but the children. One can only ask the inevitable question here. Do seniors in care not deserve the exact same dignity, respect, and protection of children in care? A key part of the Child and Youth Advocate legislation provides that the Advocate with authority to investigate critical incidents involving children and youth in the child intervention and youth criminal justice systems. Right now, when a child in care is seriously injured or dies, the Ministry conducts internal reviews to identify where enhancements can be made. With this Act, there will now be 2 additional mechanisms by which incidents can be investigated by the Advocate and by the Council for Quality Assurance. The purposes of these serious review processes are not to duplicate or interfere with any police investigations or court proceedings, but to identify where improvements can be made in a timely manner, identify how we can do a better job for vulnerable children. Again, Madam Speaker, do seniors in care not deserve the exact same protection as our children in care? One can easily come to a solution here. If you made the Seniors Advocate independent, they would be afforded all of the opportunities of our children in care. The Minister of Human Services went on to say, the Advocate will have a significant role as both a member of the Council for Quality Assurance and in his capacity and authority to investigate serious deaths involving children and youth served by his office. In carrying out these investigations from a systemic perspective, the Advocate will have the powers of a Commissioner under the Public Inquiries Act, meaning he can compel information under his investigation. Madam Speaker, these are all the same qualities of the Seniors Advocate Act today, Bill 208. Bill 208 was modelled after the Child and Youth Advocate so that seniors in care were afforded the exact same protections of children in care. Many seniors in care are clearly not able to voice their own concerns, may have Alzheimer's, dementia, and not able to speak up for themselves. They may be experiencing elder abuse in one form or another. They may have family members who are overburdened and overloaded by the responsibility of taking care of them. An independent advocate ensures that our seniors in care get the same protection of our children. Prior to Bill 25, there was very little that was ever made public about children who tragically died while in government care. I understand that some of this was due to privacy concerns, and I also understand that that is the very same concern for many of our seniors in concern. But, Madam Speaker, if we as legislators aren't privy to what's happening in this system, how can we work together toward improving the system? We all saw in this House just today, while the government announced a new advocate, employees of the minister, the independent Child and Youth Advocate, released a heartbreaking but very important report into the death of a teen in care. Within that report, there were very specific criticism of the current system, and it identified where the government must make improvements. Madam Speaker, having the health minister have more employees under his ministry is not going to give seniors a stronger voice. If we really want to do something for seniors in care in this province, this government would immediately make the Seniors Advocate independent and model it after a very successful Child and Youth Advocate, which is independent. I'll go on to talk about how the Child and Youth Advocate in his report went on to say, in Stronger Voices for Kids in Care, the Minister of Human Services said this: "These are children at risk," Minister of Human Services said in an interview this week. "People want to know there's a children's advocate who is beholden to no one but the children." I think that is probably one of the most important statements that we hold in this legislature. Very, very powerful, and I applaud the Minister of Human Services for identifying that the Child and Youth Advocate, his role is to stand up for children in care in this province, the one group of people under the age of 18 who do not have a voice. I would go on to suggest that the same government could hold seniors to the same level of care and respect and offer them the same protection and offer them the opportunity for their advocate to be beholden to no one but seniors in care. Opposition parties have long made the argument for an independent seniors advocate. I'm certainly not the first one in this House to make this argument. There have been many before me, including members of the other side of the House. This government's own members have advocated for an independent seniors advocate. I urge the government to support Bill 208.